Good morning, YouTube. This is Los Angeles Prepper here with another video. I was just looking at another YouTuber's channel. So this is a VR to a VR. Yeah. So I saw this video on Ethical Preparedness's channel. He did a response to Canadian Prepper, who subscribe to Ethical Preparedness. He's got a lot of good stuff, and I haven't even had a chance to check out his channel yet. Canadian Prepper also has some good stuff. Like, he has this video of him with this folding saw and I don't even know how long 650 millimeters is. I mean, I know it's 0.65. In fact, let's find out right now. 6 divided by 100. No. Divided by 10. 65 times. Actually, 65 divided by 2.54. That's not right. 25 inches, okay. So anyways, so the subject of the video is, what do I think about, let me turn off the fan here. What do I think about automation? Oh, this fan has been driving me crazy. I need to balance it so it stops rattling at me. But, so why are we talking about automation? Well, besides the fact that I just saw that video and I have had a very small amount of experience with automation in the workplace, and as well as kind of a general familiarity with some of the things that robots are doing these days and automated computers and systems and such. But, another reason is that one of the common subjects that comes up often in the prepping world as far as reasons that things might collapse is, the economy, economic troubles, whether it's hyperinflation or mass unemployment or whatever it is. If the government shuts off the EBT or whatnot. So automation certainly is a part of that. I'm not sure how you feel about automation, but I just thought I would kind of take a look at this article that I found on McKinsey.com called, I'll try to put a link in the video here. It's called Where Machines Could Replace Humans and Where They Can't, in parentheses, yet. And it's got a guy here in front of this machine. Oh, I wish my website would do cool stuff like that. So he makes a lot of good points. I guess there's this, let me download this file. It's kind of cool. Sure. So he makes this this sort of assertion that, so he divides up all the work. He divides up the work, or when I say the work, any type of work that people do, into these different categories: managing other people, applying expertise, stakeholder interactions, like your clients or customers or whoever, unpredictable physical work, data collection, data processing, and predictable physical work. So there's this graph here, and the higher values mean they're more susceptible to automation. The medium ones, these are kind of low, medium, and these are like low, low. So he's making the point here that things like predictable physical work, data collection, and data processing are highly susceptible, can be automated. Things like interacting with clients or stakeholders and doing unpredictable physical work is a little bit more tricky. For example, if you had a robot working in a hardware store, and let's say that one of its jobs is it had to grab anything from any shelf for a person that maybe for whatever reason couldn't grab it themselves. That would be a very, very challenging task for a robot. Telling a robot to pick a box off a shelf is one thing, but when you're telling a robot to pick, not an infinite, but thousands upon thousands of variations of physical objects with different shapes, sizes, weights, some are fragile, some are not fragile, some are packaging, some are not packaging. That's actually really, really challenging. So, for the next few years, it's going to be a lot cheaper to pay someone to work in a hardware store than it is to pay a robot. That being said, if you knew you were always going to sell the same million items with a certain amount of work and some smart AI, you could teach a robot, like not animatronic, a humanoid type robot or other type robot with hands or arms or whatnot, to pick items off a shelf. Not such a big deal. So, at any rate, then he goes down here and what was that one? That was I don't really understand that stat. He's talking about 78% of physical work is technically feasible to automate, and 25% of unpredictable physical work is feasible to automate. Okay. They have raising outdoor animals on here. That's interesting. I know they have automated milk machines that can like find a cow's udders and connect to them. But without further ado, here's the list. And you can see here these different dots. So on the right, we have things that are easier to automate, the data processing, the physical work. In the middle, and the left, we have the things that are a little bit more difficult to automate. So when they talk about, automation in manufacturing or automation in agriculture, automation in retailing, you can see that you have to kind of look in the different industries. At least I think this is a really great way of looking at it, that you can't just say, oh, agriculture is easy to automate. Because they're like, look at this big circle here, unpredictable physical work. That's so true. Planting, let's say you're like plowing a field. That's something a robot can do. Let's say you're planting seeds in a field. That's something, a machine can do. What about picking squash or picking oranges or picking apples? That is a little bit more of a challenging task. Now, it's unpredictable in the sense of that you don't know where an apple is, but it's predictable in the sense that most apples are round, most apples are certain colors, most apples are certain sizes, they weigh a certain amount. They all have a similar density, they all have a similar toughness. You can grab an apple with the same amount of force, and if you are careful, you probably won't bruise the apple, and if you grab all the apples way too hard, you'll probably crush all the apples. So, and I use that example because there are at least one or two companies, at least I know in this country, working on machines that pick apples, that pick strawberries, that do really cool stuff like prune wine vines, like in Napa Valley and such. So, I'm not going to talk about each one of these fields individually, but there's a big breakout between all these different categories, managing people, interacting with clients. I mean, how many of you like talking to customer service on the phone? So how worried are we about robots taking the client interaction job? Not right now, but I tell you this, when robots become easier to deal with than people on the phone, especially sometimes people really, really far away that maybe have less of an interest in, our domestic lives over here in the States. So is automation taking jobs? It is. It absolutely is. If you want to sort of think about the future of jobs, I mean,